Joe, this has been the biggest talking point in college football over the last week as Florida people started coming out believing that a deal was done. Then you had a reporter come out there with Florida-leaning reporter saying that Sunday was basically that he was going to accept the deal. Lane Kiffin, they play the game, all this anticipation. They beat Florida. He goes in the press conference and pretty much says nothing. He just says, I love it here, and that's all that he says, and he says he doesn't want to talk about it. Now Ole Miss fans are starting to turn and saying, make a decision, make a decision. Joe, what is the future, I guess, here of Lane Kiffin moving forward? I mean, it seems like LSU's trying to start to get in this mix here on the Lane Kiffin sweepstakes. But with all of the things surrounding Lane Kiffin, they're now 10-1. They're going to go to the playoff even if they lose to Mississippi State. I guess I just ask you, like, how do you see all of this going with Lane Kiffin at the current moment?
So there's no odds on FanDuel for where he lands, where he goes, but there is odds for their chances of making the college football playoff. They're at minus 4,000. So they're pretty much a lock to this point. I think even if they lost to Mississippi State,
they can't lose for a bye week. So, I mean, they're going to be 10-2 at minimum.
Right. I think that to talk about where this goes, I feel like the relative indecision by Lane Kiffin and most of the projection on what happens with him, it being speculation, it feels like he's leaving the door open for a reason. I think that there's two things that are true here. I think Lane Kiffin wants to focus on the rest of the season. I think he wants to finish the year. I think he wants to go to the college football playoff. I think he wants to try and set his team up to win. And I also think he doesn't want to worry about that while he's trying to accomplish these things. Mm-hmm. But the other thing that's also still true here, I think he's still leaving it on the table because he's intrigued by the opportunities that are out there. The thing that I'm really just perplexed by, why are Ole Miss fans so pissed off about this? They are completely misreading the situation. I understand being annoyed that your head coach is in the mix for all these top jobs and he is the best available candidate that everybody wants. I can understand being very frustrated. I mean, it's like if you have a girlfriend and then suddenly everybody's flirting with her at the bar and you're just standing there like, what the hell is going on here? I don't think it's very smart or fair to assume that just because he hasn't said anything that he's going to leave. But this response to this non-commentary by Kiffin is going to make it worse and is going to push him away. The fact that we have the Secretary of the state in Mississippi, Michael Watson, saying on Twitter, couldn't agree more. At some point, it'd be nice for our current coach to reciprocate the love and gratitude shown by our administration, players, fan base, and collective. It just shouldn't be this hard. Why would you say something like that? Why would you say something like that? Kiffin is like one of the most vindictive coaches out there. Why would you make a public statement like that to make it feel like he's ungrateful? Like, I'm just blown away by the way that things have been framed by those connected to Ole Miss. They're going to scare him away, and they're going to regret it in a month.
So from the Ole Miss side of things, I think that I've read some commentary from their fans, like this guy on Twitter. He covers Ole Miss. He said Lane had gift wrapped a question. You know, they're 10-1. The environment was really good. You beat Florida with everything going on. He was asked about the fan base. He gave kind of an embarrassing answer in the post game. This is what they're saying, not what I'm saying. And here's what I think Ole Miss fans don't realize. You've never been in this situation before. Not in this age. Not in this era. Like, yes, Shelbyville leaving you, these kinds of scenarios. You haven't played this game at this level in the social media era. You haven't played this game of your coach is wanted by, whether you want to agree with this or not, whether we've built ourselves into a quote-unquote blue blood. Well, you haven't even made the playoffs, so you're not a blue blood. Let's calm down on you saying that you're a blue blood and the media saying that you're a blue blood because you're not. You don't have the resources and facilities that Florida does. You don't have the alumni base that LSU or Florida does. Those two jobs historically are more attractive than yours. You have a stadium that holds 65,000 people. Florida and Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, the tradition and Heisman's and everything that you can get there, along with LSU, hit differently. Joe, God forbid he goes to New York and gets back together with Jackson Dart. We don't know his decision here yet. But here's the thing. Games have to be played for guys like Jimmy Sexton. If Lane Kiffin goes out there and says, I'm staying, the market flushes. The market flushes because they're trying to reset the market by using Lane Kiffin. And their fans don't understand that. Like I remember like Les Miles. I remember Urban Meyer. I remember when the whole Texas and Nick Saban situation came open. Joe, I remember 2 years ago when Nick Saban retired. Remember how many guys were going to take that job? You, with all due respect, you haven't played this game. You should be acting like what happened around Auburn. No, he's not leaving. And then you find out in a documentary, yeah, he was. It took a lot of convincing, and then Auburn kind of pissed down their leg why he's not the head coach of Auburn. Now, here's the truth. And Ole Miss fans want a decision, allegedly, from what I just hear and what I see. They want a decision before the playoff. Why? Why? Because you might not get one. And if you give him an ultimatum, if you're Carter and the AD and you're the administration, you're the fan base, you're the boosters, and you give them an ultimatum, then you are, like you said, you are going to lose him. You are going to, like, hey, man, 4 seasons of 10 wins at this place has never happened until I stepped on campus here. You mean a lot to me. I mean, Joe, he's revamped himself in what has happened around Ole Miss. He's had more success for you than anybody in your history. Literally. When it comes to wins and losses, he's done more than anybody. But here's the thing. The likely truth of the matter is he's the hottest commodity in football. And I didn't just say college football. He's the hottest commodity in football right now. And I'm assuming that LSU, Florida, and maybe even the Giants are starting to get involved here. Why would he say anything right now? He's not at his peak of where this can go. I don't believe him when he says, I don't care about money. I don't believe that. I think everybody cares about the future and financial stability of their family. So when you look at this, newsflash to everybody in the country, LSU is coming after him. Okay? They might not get him. They might not come close to getting him. They're coming. And I will tell you this right now. Jimmy Sexton was in Louisiana 6 months ago and did a small speech in Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame saying LSU's one of probably the top 2-3 best jobs in the country right now. Where do you think he's leading him? What do you think he thinks about Florida? It's not about what Ole Miss is right now. It's about him advising his client what the best opportunity for him is. And I don't think it's you. So you're right about the Ole Miss thing. The reason he's giving you a non-answer is because you're not the program that you think you are without him. And that is a tough pill to swallow right now. You don't want to hear it, but it is the truth. Mm-hmm. So I look at all of this and just say, I don't know what Lane Kiffin's going to do. He may stay. I see all these opinions out here. They put a statue up of him. Fine. Does he want a freaking statue? Or does he want a national championship? Because with all due respect, you don't have the infrastructure. Oh, well, we built the infrastructure. No, you haven't. Go look at high school recruiting. No, you haven't. Until you start locking the state down, no, you haven't. The bottom line is, Joe, he is the hottest name, and I have no idea what his decision's going to be. But for him to say what he said yesterday at the podium, he wants to hear everybody out, and that is the bottom line.
I think the way that you put that's a really good way of framing this. At the end of the day, there needs to be a reality check for Ole Miss fans that no matter how you want to prop up Ole Miss, it's not a top 15 job in college football. It's not. It could eventually become one, but it takes decades for transformation like that to happen. And if Lane Kiffin stays, I'm sure that there's a path for that to come to fruition. But at the current moment, for what you just brought up, for the recruiting base that's in Mississippi, and for the fact that most of the top recruits in Mississippi end up leaving, for the fact of other programs in the SEC and even across the country having much deeper NIL and alumni bases with more money than you, Ole Miss can be a good competitive program. That is, I think, where the separation is here. So at the end of the day, if all of these jobs that are better than yours at the current moment are expressing aggressive interest, you got to just sit and be patient. I know that that sounds awful and that sucks, but you have to let this play out. The fact that we have government officials making public statements the way that they did, reacting to Kiffin and going after him, which was far more detrimental, I would argue, than what Jeff Landry did, to like tag him on Twitter, an app that he is on seemingly all day.
It was about a fired Brian Kelly. He didn't say anything about a coach that's coming.
And it came off extremely ridiculous because Landry's got a really, funny Cajun accent. So like everybody took.
Calm down.
No, I'm just saying that like everything he said got completely drawn out even further than it was.
All right.
It has nothing to do with Cajuns. I'm not trying to like.
You made your point. Keep going.
Like my point here is that you have to let him decide. You can't press him. Doing that is only going to make him not want to be there more.
I got a brilliant idea if you're Ole Miss. Why don't you start your own search just in case? It's your job. Here is a newsflash. You could start your own. You have a guy in the building that would be pretty freaking good at the job. You might not want to hire Pete Golding, but I mean, listen.
Joe Judge, he's been a head coach.
I mean, no. But at the same time, why aren't you doing your own search just in case? Joe, this could be mid-December before this is decided. Here's what I said the other day, and to LSU fans, so I want to say it here. We might have to rethink how we view coaching searches around recruiting. Like you got to get your coach in before the signing class. We've never had a 12-team playoff. We've never had a 12-team playoff. So we might have to rethink about what we think of how coaching searches actually work, because this is really and truthfully, now that you have big boy names in here, like Joe, again, I'm just shooting out a hypothetical here. There's a lot of smoke that Lincoln Riley's going to leave. Let's just say hypothetically, and I'm throwing a hypothetical. Let's say he does. And then you got USC, LSU. You have potentially at the end of the season, Florida State. You got Penn State open. Then you'd have Ole Miss. You got Arkansas. With all due respect, we're going to have to re-understand how we've never seen this before.
No.
We've never seen this happen in a 12-team playoff. So you can do your own search. There's nothing wrong with doing your own search and talking to other candidates. Would you be interested in Ole Miss if Lane left? We don't know what his decision's going to be. But we want you if he leaves. It's your job if you're Keith Carter. It's your job. So I don't want to sitting on your hands and Lane not giving you an answer and giving him an ultimatum, maybe by the Egg Bowl. What are you going to do? And here's the biggest thing, and I want to end on this. I see a lot of Ole Miss fans saying, I wouldn't let him coach in the playoff. Okay.
That's dumb. It's so dumb. I've seen that too.
Okay. We wouldn't let him coach in the playoff. Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. You go right on ahead and do that, and you'll be the laughing stock of the country because you deserve to be. You deserve to be. Don't you dare. These teams are waiting. If LSU and Florida got told that Lane is coming, they are going to wait.
Yeah.
So fire him, do whatever you want. But you would be stupid. You would be an idiot to fire him. Please, you know what? Please do it, because then a buyout doesn't happen. So now, if you fire him, no, hold on.
Which is why this is nothing's going to happen, though, because it sounds ludicrous when you say it out loud. It really
sounds
does.
Stupid when you say it. You know what? Here's the point. Fire him for $30 million. Go right on ahead. And you know what? When you do that, his price goes down.
I don't think that's going to happen, though. But that's the point. It's the point of how ludicrous it is.
Well, you say that until Saban literally fired him before they coached a national title. Let's not act like things aren't completely. Nick Saban fired his OC before a natty. It's not unthinkable. However, we think it's not going to happen because it's so ludicrous. This is college football. Stupider shit has happened.
The one thing I just want to quickly add here, Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman are a little bit different because Notre Dame's is a lot better job than the Ole Miss job. I really didn't have much of a fear that Marcus Freeman would leave, but now that the Giants job opened up and some of these NFL jobs are opening up, the NFL was the real destination that and I think a lot of other Notre Dame fans had a fear of Marcus Freeman jumping at. I think
what if Notre Dame opens up?
So wait, the angle that I was trying to get at with this is that no Notre Dame fan at the current moment is pressed or annoyed by Marcus Freeman not coming out and making a direct statement because they understand that this is part of the process. That is how Ole Miss needs to act. Otherwise, it does turn into a situation where it's like, why would I want to stay somewhere where they're like Marcus on me like this?
Well, and not to go down this rabbit hole, but it's like Marcus's comment when he was asked. He goes, Marcus Freeman's not putting his name out there. Other people are. He didn't lie. He didn't say anything when he said that, though. He didn't say.
Did you read the full article? The full article, he kind of was like, it was as close to a no as you could get.
He said Marcus Freeman ain't put. He talked about himself like he was Julius Caesar in a third person.
But Kiffin's comment was a lot more open ended than.
Way more.
Way more. He said, "I don't want to talk about this right now to disrespect the players and stuff like that." So,
in which I agree. I agree.